Hi, I'm Charlene and welcome to my chaotic crochet channel. Today I'm taking you through row by row exactly how to make Pop Pop the Pigeon. This guy is no-sew. He takes 15 minutes to make and he is an absolute market weapon. Anyway, if you stick around to the end, I do have a little secret to tell you. So let's get making some pigeons. So first things first, let's talk supplies. Of course, you're going to need a crochet hook. I'm using a 5.5. This is a furls hook. You need safety eyes. I'm using 12mm. Now, if you're in the UK, you do need to be considering UKCA testing if you're selling your plushies, and you need to be buying UKCA tested supplies. These eyes are tested and safe for me to use. You are also going to need some stuffing, again, tested. And of course, you're going to need your wool. I am using Elise Velluto. So I'm using dark grey for the top, that's 87, light grey 428, teal 646, purple 44, and finally the pink 121. Of course, you don't have to use those colours. I mean, obviously this is the traditional grey for a pigeon. I'm desperate to make a pink pigeon. So, you know, go with the flow, guys. Do what you need to do. So we're going to start in the dark grey because we're going to be working from the top down. In order to do this pattern, you do need to know basic crochet. You will need to know the single stitch and increase stitch. You need to be able to work in the round. You also need to be able to do a half double crochet and a slip stitch and colour changes and a decrease. So they're quite basic crochet techniques. So to start, we're going to do 6 single crochets in a magic ring. Again, if you're not familiar with the magic ring, there are plenty of tutorials online to teach yourself the magic ring. Okay, so 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And pull that ring closed. One of the best things about Elise Velluto yarn is it does do a magic ring extremely well. Round 2, you're going to increase all the way around to get 12. $11, $12. This is what it's looking like. And then the next 3 rounds are 12 single crochets around. I'll speed up the camera here and I'll meet you back in a moment. Okay, in round 6, we are going to change to the dark teal colour. To do that, you want to colour change on your last stitch of row 5. And on this round, round 6 is a single increase for 6 all the way around till you get 18 stitches. Single increase single, increase, single, increase. Okay, this is what your little pigeon is looking like after row 6. I'm going to cut that grey yarn and I'm just going to tie off my ends to make sure the colour change is secure. And we're done with the dark grey now. So row 7, we are changing into the purple colour. Again, you want to do your colour change on the last stitch of the previous row. And for this round, we're going to do 18 single crochets around. Okay, that's round 7. We're now going to change into the light grey, but I am just going to cut off my teal yarn and secure the ends again. Just tuck those in. Okay, and again we're going to change to light grey here on row 8 on the last stitch of row 7. Okay, so we're going to change to light grey. So in this round we're going to be creating the arms. I will pop the arm combination on the top here and talk you through it. So for row 8 we're going to start with 6 single crochets. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. So to create the arm we're going to chain 2 and then we're going to half double crochet into the second chain from the hook. Then we're going to slip stitch back into the body at the same stitch, so we're going in here. And that's what your wing is looking like. You're then going to do 8 more single crochets around. 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8. And then you're going to create your second wing in the exact same way you did your first wing. So that's a chain 2 and a half double crochet in the second chain from the hook and a slip stitch back into the body into the same stitch that you started with, and it should leave you with 4 single crochets. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Now I'm going to stop here and I'm going to cut my purple. We're finished with purple. We're going to tie our ends off And we're now going to place our safety eyes and do our beak. I'll be using my trusted safety tool that makes sure my eyes are securely in place. Now I add my safety eyes between rows 3 and 4, and they're about 3 to 4 stitches apart. So you want to make sure this is at the back and this is the front. This is where you're going to place your safety eyes. So 1, 2, 3 and 4. Now traditionally a pigeon's eyes are kind of on the side. So this is where I've positioned mine. We are 1, 2, 3 and 4. We're in between row 3 and 4 and we're a couple of stitches apart. Now when they get sunken in, they will create a bump here for us to apply the beak. So I'm going to use this tool to apply my eyes. I would be absolutely lost without this machine. So I want to make sure the eyes, the back of the eyes have gone all the way down, at least 2 notches. I know they're then safe and they match the testing that I've done. Same for this eye. Like, you would never be able to push these eyes in with your own hands, is what I'm saying. Well worth the investment. Okay, same with that one. So my eyes are very well in there now. And what I'm also going to do at this point is I'm going to take a small piece of the pink yarn and a sewing needle, and I'm going to sew my beak on as tightly and securely as I can in between the eyes. Now I like to make a tiny little beak, and I like to go through it twice just to give it a little bit of 3D-ness. So there we go. Just going to push this inside out because I want to securely tie these ends as securely as I can so that there's no wool detaching from the pigeon. I like to do a treble knot to ensure that that's not coming through. Now sometimes when you tighten your beak, it will create it to be pushed. So there we have the beak, and we're now going to finish his body. Just going to tuck all these loose yarns in. These are good for stuffing his head right to the top. So for row 9, it's really easy. We're just going to do 18 single crochets all the way round. Now for the wing, when you get to the wing, you are going to crochet either side of the wing so that it pushes out. It looks like this. Okay, so for row 8, this is where we're going to add the bobble stitch feet. I'll talk you through how I do my bobble stitches. There are multiple ways to do bobble stitches, but this is how I do mine. So we're going to crochet 8. Now you may find that you're 7 or a 6 or an 8 when it comes to doing this. You want to make sure that your bobble stitches are in line with your eyes and they have got at least 2 single crochets in the middle. So do change the pattern if you need to at this point. So after my 8th stitch, I'm going to take my pink yarn and I'm going to attach that for the colour change. I'm going to yarn over and go through, pull up a loop, pull through. I've got 2 loops on my hook, yarn over, pull up a loop. I've got 3 loops on my hook, yarn over, pull up a loop. I've got 4 loops on my hook and then yarn over, pull up the loop, pull through 2. I've got 5 hooks on my loop. At this point, because we're kind of changing back to the light grey, I pull through all 5 loops using the grey. And then I'll carry on and do 1 single crochet, making sure that I push my bobble through. Now I do pull tightly to secure that. And then what I'll do as well at the end is I will use cotton yarn to secure these bobble stitches down even more, but there'll be invisible cotton yarn. That helps pass the testing. So we're then going to do 1 and 2. And I like to cut my pink yarn and tie the back of my bobble stitch as well, rather than using the same. And I'll start the colour change again with a new bit of pink. So we're going to repeat that bobble stitch to get 5 loops on your hook. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Change to grey. Push your bobble through. And then just finish your round with single crochets. You will end row 10 with 18 single crochets around, just including your bobble stitches. And at the end of that round, I will cut and secure the final bobble stitch. So this is what your little pigeon is currently looking like. He's nearly finished. We just have 2 more rounds to do. Now, I haven't started stuffing yet. I will stuff after this round. Some people like to stuff now. I like to stuff towards the end. It just helps with shaping. So row 11 is a single decrease round for 6 to get you back down to 12. Don't forget to do your bobble stitches as well. Don't miss them out. Okay, that's the end of round 11. And before we finish off, I'm going to stuff my Pop Pop. Make sure you stuff him accordingly. You don't want a floppy pigeon. You want him a fat little bubba, because pigeons are fat and cute. Okay, and then on your final round, you're just going to do 6 decreases and then you're going to fasten off. I like to put a tiny little bit more stuffing in at the end, just to make sure my base is all good. Just want to check his shape. This is the part where you can really kind of round his bottom. Okay, we're nearly there. Just going to fasten off. So I weave in and up and down on the front loops of the last round, and I'll pull gently, and then I will do a few stitches around the base just to secure that loose yarn, and then I will push my needle through like that, and I'll cut that. And you can use the end of your crochet hook or your scissors, just be careful if you're using scissors, to hide your yarn. And there you have it. One tiny little pigeon, perfect for your market. So that's Pop Pop done. And I did say I was going to let you guys in on a little secret. So Pop Pop has been really lonely, and I may have done something about it. Pop Pop has friends that are coming. I'm not going to say too much more than that right now, but if you want to be the first to know, obviously subscribe, hit the bell, keep an eye on my channel, more very, very soon. Anyway, Pop Pop is free, link is in the description. Go make yourself a pigeon, you absolutely deserve one. Thanks for watching.